The Google Pixel. It's pushing 6 months old now, but is the Google phone still the ultimate Android experience? Welcome back to Byte Review. Let's dig a little deeper and see how the Google Pixel is holding up. Despite being the first phone built by Google, the Pixel is actually manufactured by HTC, and looking closer you can see a hint of the 1 series HTC is known for, the large chamfered edges and all metal construction being the bigger giveaways. It's a pleasant design, but certainly not awe-inspiring like the Galaxy Edge series. Google played it really safe with the look of the Pixel, and the best compliment I can give it is, it's fine. Although the white version I have here really does look like an iPhone at face value. Towards the back, there is a visor of sorts towards the top which I quite like, but I think there'll be plenty of people who aren't keen on that design aspect. Importantly, the Pixel is a comfortable phone to use. Maybe it's because I've been using large phones for a while, but it's been super nice to use it in one hand. Not shifting my grip to reach the top of the screen has been great. I can still definitely see why people prefer a smaller device. If the design irks me somewhere, it's in the screen to body ratio. For a flagship phone of 2016, it's surprising to see such a large forehead and chin, and I can't help but wish it was taken up by a bigger screen. On the plus side, that screen is pretty damn fantastic. It's a full HD OLED panel with great colours, viewing angles and contrast. It's difficult to complain really. I thought the lack of a Quad HD panel would be a bit of a letdown, but in a 5-inch phone it really doesn't bother me. Bear in mind, I am on the standard Pixel and the XL model does have a Quad HD screen and a bigger battery to boot. Speaker wise, we've got a classic mono made to look stereo speaker grill at the bottom, and it's pretty much exactly what you expect. It's not particularly loud, it faces downwards, and it's easy to block with your hand. It's a far cry from the HTC Boom sound days, and I think it would be more understandable if the phone was water resistant, but it's not, and it feels like a bit of a missed opportunity considering the large forehead and chin in tow. The fingerprint scanner is bang on in the right position if you ask me, not to mention the one included in the Pixel is super fast and responsive too. I much prefer this placement rather than a home button on the front of the device, as your finger naturally rests on there when you're using it. Interestingly, the phone has an actual wedge shape to it. It's thicker towards the top and it kind of tapers off towards the end and somewhat resembles a doorstop. A really expensive doorstop. Expense is an interesting topic for the Pixel too. Google has priced the phone in the same bracket as the iPhone. Make no mistakes, this isn't how the Nexus pricing once was, but this phone isn't tailored for the enthusiast or the purist like those phones were. This is a phone to tempt iPhone users to Android, and you can't blame them for trying. Let's just get this out there, the Pixel is the fastest Android phone I've ever used. Everything from navigating the phone to switching between high-powered apps feels zippy and responsive. The Snapdragon 821 chip with 4GB of RAM are clearly firing on all cylinders here, and it shows. You can fly through the phone at speed if you know where you're going with almost zero slowdown. And then there's the new launcher. It may have been strange when it first arrived, but the Pixel launcher is a really nice update to Android. The UI feels a bit more cohesive overall, and the experience has a renewed fluidity to it. Frustratingly, Google has decided to change all the icons to a round theme, which I would be totally fine with if all of those icons fell in line. Maybe it's obsessive compulsive hiding somewhere within me, but I don't see why popular apps like Facebook or Instagram, hell even some of Google's don't fit the mould. What the hell? It makes me want to install Nova just to sort out that one inconsistency. Rather than add a name for their AI, Google have just gone with the Assistant for the Pixel and Android Nougat. Personally, I've never found much use for built-in AI, and I still only use it to set timers when I'm cooking or check the weather for the week, and Google's Assistant hasn't made me think otherwise. That's not to say it's not impressive. The Assistant is one of the more powerful AIs out there, and put to good use it can give you a wealth of information and stay contextual, which is super important. It doesn't forget what you've just said if you ask another question relating to what you just asked. It's easy to use, but I think it's a case of putting in what you get out, and right now I really don't put much into the Assistant to really get any good use out of it. A huge part of Google's marketing for this phone was about the camera. It made lofty claims that its 12.3 megapixel sensor was one of the best you could possibly get, with the highest DxO mark, for whatever that's worth. Well, I would be wrong to slate it because the camera on the Pixel is bloody fantastic. Photos are punchy, detailed and filled with colour and just generally impressive. Google also provide free unlimited backups of your photos of a Pixel, so you'll never have to worry about storage again. I've made a video comparing it to the iPhone 7 Plus which you can find linked below, but for now I'll let you take it all in. The Pixel doesn't have optical image stabilization, but it does have an enhanced electronic one which speaks with the inner gyro sensor to smooth out photos and footage. It seems to work well for photos, but it can be super aggressive when filming, occasionally adding a significant judder to your footage. And that footage, well, I'm not sold on it either. It's a bit grainy and it lacks the quality of a Samsung or an iPhone. For most people though, I think this camera is one of the absolute best out there. Battery wise, the Pixel has been average to good for me. I'm getting to the end of most days with no real issue, squeezing about 3.5 hours of screen on time per day. It's not mind blowing by any means, but this is the smaller Pixel. If you're after better battery life than that, it would certainly be worth picking up the XL model for the extra juice. As per usual for a high-end Android phone, the Pixel is rocking USB Type-C with rapid charging, which can replenish you in a snap if you're in a bit of a pinch. So, is it still worth getting? Well, I think the Pixel is the best Android experience you can get right now, but the hardware holds it back from being the true king it set out to be. With Samsung and even LG pushing out incredible hardware, it's easy to look at the Pixel and think of it as a little pedestrian next to it. That aside, it's pretty much everything else you'd want from a flagship phone: a fantastic camera, snappy performance and excellent software. Its only real downsides are the lack of waterproofing and the safe but drab design. I really hope the Pixel 2 will crush the hardware, then I think Google will be onto a real winner. That's all from me for the Pixel. Let me know your thoughts below, and if you enjoyed the video, drop a like and stick around. I will hopefully see you all in the next one.